Prepare yourself, Bingers. This is Chris T3 Medias, and this is the Binge review of Marvel's Luke Cage. I just wrapped it up, so let's get right into it. First off, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not like it when it was first as it started off. I thought it was like, I don't know how to even put it. I thought it was insistent on itself too much, and it was. I felt like the things that I was seeing, the references that were being made, was going to be a situation where it's like critics, especially white critics, were going to be like, "Oh yeah, this was awesome. It's great," just because you're getting all this Black history in it, all these lessons that are being forced about the community and things like that, about taking pride in your community and responsibility. You know, with things with leaders, with Black leaders like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, things like this. I thought it was going to just hit you over the head a little too much with the history of New York, the thing about Harlem and New York pride, Black pride, things like that. I thought it was going to be a situation where it's like they critics. I haven't even read any other reviews yet, or seen any other reviews yet. But what I kind of felt like for the first 2 or 3 episodes was that it was going to be a situation where like white people would probably be too afraid to call it boring if it was boring in comparison to Daredevil and in comparison to even Jessica Jones. A lot of people didn't like Jessica Jones. A lot of people did. I thought it was starting off a little slow. Once the villains started to evolve above Cottonmouth and becoming more aggressive than Cottonmouth, and Cottonmouth started off hardcore aggressive, then that's when the stakes got bigger. People started thinking. I mean, Cottonmouth was keeping everything in one bubble, and it was like the fight was small, kind of in a way, and it was but it had no way to expand. The second he was forced to use outside help, or to turn his cousin from a political person into a real player into this, and all these outside elements really started going after Luke Cage and really making Harlem suffer, and this war started to build and build and build. That's when things got awesome in this story, because yeah, you got if he was the kingpin of this story, if he was the main villain throughout, I probably would not have liked it. I didn't like the fact that he was killed either, because I liked him as a character. But the second he died, all shit broke loose. I was feeling like, okay, this is going to be a situation where, because I keep hearing great things about it, and I was thinking, okay, is it all Black people going to be like, yeah, it was great, because hey, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, you got a Marvel superhero back in the day. Comic book characters were not treated with that much respect. Any character that was out there, you had the word Black in front of it, Black Lightning, Black this, Black that, and just to single them out and whatnot. They couldn't just get named. Like Black Panther is the only one that has the word Black in his name that actually fit and made sense. But everybody else, it was like almost like a slap on them and an insult. It's like you can't be Superman. You have to be called Black Superman. I'm surprised they didn't call him Black Power or Black Power Man or something like that. It was like it was back in those days. But I love the fact that they did go with the references and they did go out with the history lessons and whatnot, because hey, for one, nobody else is doing it, and two, it needs to be told. If there's a history with something and there's a message behind it, that all these undertones, all these messages, and it was very relevant to the crap that's been going on today, like the hoodie thing, the police, the tension between police and inner city civilians. All of these things was relevant to what's going on today, and I think that was mostly the message that was coming out. Maybe that was part of the thing that was taking me out of it. It's because I'm thinking about black boys, black men out there who were, and little boys who out there who were killed, who weren't doing anything wrong. Some who probably were in the middle of doing something wrong, but it didn't warrant a shooting in a lot of people's eyes, and in my eyes, on a lot of those cases, where it was like, you talk about, especially when the show came to a message about Bulletproof Brother, which would, in a lot of people's eyes, would be a nightmare for people. But when they started beating that message out like that, especially when Method Man came out there and he said his line, it made me feel bad for a lot of these people out there who were, especially the ones that weren't breaking the law at all and were still shot, because these guys weren't bulletproof. And yeah, it would be kind of cool to have a guy like Luke Cage out there, but let's be honest, if Luke Cage really existed, the whole the world would be trying to take this guy down and dissect him. It's not, I mean, not just because of scientific purpose, but because of that fear of come on, man, a bulletproof brother. Come on, man. There's no way in the world that this guy could be walking down the street and the police not trying to take him out or figure out how to blow him up at any given day or time. It would just be nonstop. There's no way. It wouldn't matter if he never committed a crime throughout this whole series, or if there was no cottonmouth pulling strings or nothing like that, making his life a living hell. Just by him existing, there would be no peace for this person. The coffee references, that was hilarious. I mean, come on. Coffee sometimes is coffee. Come on. Every now and then, coffee is sex. And I like the fact that he got with the police officer Misty, Detective Misty, played by what's her name, Simone Knight, and she and first person to give a cup of coffee. Now like Rosario Dawson. So it's not like it's like he doesn't really have a type. I think his type is a good, strong woman. But that reference, but if you want to go back to the woman he was first in love with, that he was hung up over, and then compare it to the cop, yeah, they had a lot in common. But you know, if you were strong, but the thing all of these four women have in common is the fact that they were strong women that made him feel a certain thing and think and things like that, and probably brewed a real good cup of coffee. Introduced to the rapper Jadina when he sung his song. Long Live the Chief. Didn't know anything about this brother at all. And I didn't even look into it after I saw his episode when he performed. But when I saw him, I was like, this kid is interesting. Who is this guy? The way he dressed, I thought he was like a brother from the 30s or whatnot. I was like, this kid's trying to dress like Malcolm X. And the way Denzel Washington, when he played Malcolm X before he went to prison and whatnot. Like, who is this guy? And I first thought that Marvel made a mistake by casting the same person and had no relationship of who she was when she played her character in the movie Civil War, Alfred Woodard. Now I take it back. Once you learn the character of Black Mariah, yeah, ain't no way in the world she could be linked to that woman. That's just gonna chalk it up to a cosmic coincidence that she looks like this person, but it's two different characters, no relation. I don't now based on who that woman was, I don't want that to be. My thought was maybe she could at least be a twin sister and be like, try to use that as a talking point as a politician. My twin sister lost my nephew out there in during the events that happened in the Age of Ultron, blah blah blah. But you don't want to be tied to this family, so kill that idea. I'm glad, you know what, Marv, you just went with the best actress and she was the best choice, and I'm glad for it. Detective Scapes, man, I knew that mother was crooked. I could smell it on him. He made too many damn jokes, and too many jokes where he wasn't really enjoying himself. You gotta watch people that do that sarcastic stuff, and especially when they got power like that. When you're a cop, you joking about some serious stuff, and you just when he walked in the barber shop, and he didn't. I mean, the guy respectfully wanted to shake the officer's hand, and he walked past him like he was nothing. At first, I'm thinking, maybe this is a guy who just hates criminals, and I don't care. If you haven't been a thug in the last 50 years and you changed your life, you were once a criminal, you'll always be a criminal. That's how I got the vibe from him. But then I was like, oh no, you crooked yourself, and that's you just have no respect. But when you learn about his past and his motivation, how he lost his love, his son and everything like that, you kind of understood. He just didn't give a damn about life anymore. He didn't care. Shit, I forgot his name, but the arms dealer, man, that dude was funny when he made the reference about, man, y'all, when he said, I'm gonna quote him right here, he said, y'all Harlem niggas is off the chain. I'm going back to Hell's Kitchen where it's safe. I mean, think about it, man. I mean, Daredevil come out of nowhere and beat the crap out you, broke his bones and all that. But dude, Luke Cage, you got a bulletproof brother out there, and you got and you got people who is crazy enough to try to deal with that. No, you go to Hell's Kitchen where it's safe. But that was a funny line. So next thing, what else? I wrote some things. I like the Biggie photo that was in the background, mostly for Cottonmouth. Every time you stand in front of that window or in a certain angle, the camera was angled in a certain way. They always had Biggie right behind you so you can see the crown on his head. Shades and Black Maria. I did sense the sexual tension or chemistry between those two characters from the beginning. The moment he called her a bitch, I knew he would. I don't know if he's attracted to her or attracted to anybody. He could be a sociopath. I don't think he's attracted to anybody or like that. Feels like he can. it's gonna be Shades is very, very calculated. But when she kissed him, I could tell that her character was attracted to him. The way he talked to her, the way she wouldn't take that from anybody, but how complimenting he was, how he pushed her to be more than what he said the things to her that her cousin was trying to get her to do to get into the business wasn't clicking, but Shades was able to say those things that made it click. And I think she I don't know. She heard what she needed to hear. If there's going to be a fall to Black Mariah's character, it's going to be Shades. It's going to be Shades is the reason why she falls. He needs her now, and he probably really needs her to be the guinea pig out there, the face of it all, the face of the criminal empire, and he'll play the underboss. But in reality, like you said, he's running the show for real. So she'll be out there in the forefront, taking all the hits, she's really the boss. She's really the boss. But no, in reality, he's the boss. And when that character falls, it'll probably be cut by Shade's hands. Unless she figures it out first, it probably will kill him. At first, I was afraid that it was going to be so much or too much that I was afraid that I wouldn't get honest reviews, because I was thinking, okay, this is either going to be so much to the point where some people are going to be afraid to say something negative about it, because they don't want to be considered as being too harsh on it, because it's a mostly black message. Black superheroes and minority superheroes don't get that much love in the first place, and we're waiting for Black Panther and all this stuff to come out, and I'm thinking that nobody wants to be the one to shoot something like this down, because what needs to happen. And it's true, it does need to happen. There needs to be more opportunities out there. But again, you don't get the best writers, you don't get the best directors and stuff, and you don't deliver it to these standards that people have nowadays, then all you doing is you did a disservice to the character. It's not that there's something wrong with Luke Cage. There's nothing wrong with Luke Cage, with the character in the comic book. But if you don't get the best of the best on top of it, then in comparison to something else that hit, and then you're wondering, well, how come this one made $1 billion, but Luke Cage only made 500 or whatever the situation is? Well, is it because people just don't want to see a black superhero and whatnot, or is it because you didn't deliver it the way it could have been, the way you didn't get the best of the best like you did for this other character? So you got to wonder about that stuff. And now that you've watched the whole thing, hopefully before you watch this, now by episode 13, I put it up there with Daredevil. It fits perfectly now. The corniness and all that stuff. This is a very different, unique character. Now that when the shit hit the fan in the middle, and it started really getting into this whole big story, then I could see him going toe to toe with the Punisher and Daredevil and hanging out with. You already know he can hang out with Jessica Jones. They fit perfectly. But now you can bridge it all together. Rosario Dawson's character being that glue. I'm thinking the whole time, she offered him coffee too. And I'm thinking, did she have sex with Daredevil? Is she gonna sleep with everybody? I don't think she had sex. Remind me, guys, did she have sex with Daredevil, or did they just kiss? And then they were trying for something, but it never really happened. Did they sleep together? I think she did. Either way it goes, could you imagine when he goes to jail and goes to court and whatnot, it's time to prove his innocence? Either he's gonna just show the evidence and get his name cleared, because I knew that folder that has his evidence that cleared his name. I knew nobody grabbed it. So I'm like, you grabbed the cell phone, but you didn't grab the folder, and it showed us up at the end. So either by season 2, when they start the next episode, it's going to be, all right, here's the evidence, he's innocent and free to go, or they're going to bring in Matt Murdock and defend him in the very first episode and move on, set up the Defenders. Or maybe I think what's after Iron Fist? Is it the Defenders? If the Defenders is in, then it's going to be this whole thing with the Defenders, and I think it's going to be the court system thing that really bridges it all together. Because whatever this big threat that's going to come out to play, I'm sure that's going to have to deal with the fact that now that Black Mariah is a heavy hitter with Shades, they're heavy hitters now. They already share a lawyer with Kingpin's. There's your glue that fits these characters, these villains together. Rosario Dawson's character is the glue that fits these heroes together, and both of those two characters are going to do their thing, and they're going to introduce all these people, and they're going to get them into a room, and it's and it's going to be bad when it happens. So Rosario Dawson needs to get to work, but I can't wait for the conversations. Luke Cage, Daredevil, sit in the room and talk about the fact that they got this little love triangle going on with it. Even though it should be water under the bridge now, Daredevil is focused on Elektra. Hopefully I want that to work because they look good together. In the comic book, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones's character is supposed to be the one that fits. But for this, I like Luke Cage with Rosario Dawson's character. But I'm thinking, did she sleep with Daredevil? At the least she kissed him. And then she kissed Luke. So it's like, this whole thing about she's supposed to get in these... And now if she kisses Iron Fist, I'm done with her character. Then now y'all doing too much. I hope that don't happen. But the love triangle between you got like Luke Cage and this nurse. You got Daredevil and this nurse. You got Luke Cage with Elektra. Put them in a room together. It's gonna be crazy. You got Jessica Jones, the one that's destined to be with Luke. One like, okay, so first you was messing with Daredevil, now you messing with Luke. Like, what the hell's going on? Then you got Misty, Detective Misty out there thinking, oh, well, all these coffee references. The whole time I'm watching these little flirty moments and whatnot, I'm thinking to myself, y'all, it's like 3 separate times y'all flirted a reference that y'all want each other right in front of the woman that you did have sex with in the beginning of it. And she even brought it up. Oh, you haven't had that coffee yet? I have. I mean, that was hilarious. And I'm like, and they kept doing it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why isn't she just like, bitch, are you really doing that in front of me? Like, I thought, like, but they didn't really. I thought that was going to happen. But it didn't happen, man. But I'm hoping it will. And then imagine when Jessica Jones drops her ass down there and be like, and they start talking about, now you got a little cup of coffee that night. But Jessica Jones, she like, yeah. Y'all ain't doing better than me, and that's gonna be a hilarious scenario. I cannot wait for Defenders when all this stuff hits the fan. For more than the superhero versus the villains things, the sexual tension that of a superstorm that Rosario Dawson has brought to this. That's what I'm anticipating the most. What is it that you guys are looking forward to, guys? Comment. Hit the like button. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you like this thing, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already become a subscriber. Thanks, guys, for binging with me, freaking out with Luke Cage again. Daredevil, then Luke Cage, then Jessica Jones. And we'll see what Iron Fist brings to the table. Until next time, guys, keep binging.